goodness. Rookie. All right, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys enjoyed that intro. If you couldn't hear me, that means, I don't know what it means, but happy to have you here. Happy Tuesday. We got a lot to go over. First order of business is the SEC schedule that has been released for the next 3 years. We'll be taking a look at who Florida will be matched up against. We talked about yesterday the three reoccurring teams, which are Georgia, South Carolina, and Kentucky. So tonight we find out how often we play Tennessee, when we play them, LSU, Bama, Auburn, all those good things, Texas and Oklahoma, all great stuff. We'll also be going over John Mateer, who is out indefinitely with a broken hand, had to have surgery on his throwing hand, massive for Oklahoma. Then we'll dive into another coach has been fired, not named Billy. Now that we got everything figured out with the audio, I apologize, first time being here. Good to see you, ladies and gentlemen. Happy to have you here on this beautiful Tuesday. No baby still, obviously, hence why we're here. But we're rocking and rolling, hanging in there, having ourselves a good time. So, apologies for the audio, but we're rocking and rolling. Smash the like button, subscribe, and let's get it. Let's go. I know I'm muted. I got it. Sometimes the chat's a little behind. All right, let's take a look at this schedule, boys and girls. Exciting stuff. So, like I mentioned, Georgia, Kentucky, South Carolina, those are the reoccurring ones, okay? So the first 2026, I mean, the fact that we get all of them is kind of cool. Obviously, what will be reoccurring will be the out-of-conference games, those 3 out-of-conference games. I would assume FSU would remain. So we're really just looking at 2 teams that we would be rotating year in and year out on that out-of-conference. Given the fact that we're adding another SEC, I would expect those 2 games to be absolute cupcakes. And I wouldn't mind. I mean, remember back in the day, we used to have like one in the beginning, then we would throw one at the end before FSU. I'd imagine we go back to that model, but maybe not. We'll see. This one's actually a little bit better. You can see it. But so 2026, we play South Carolina at home, Georgia in Atlanta. So next year it's in Atlanta. Then the following year it's in Tampa. Then it's back in Jacksonville because obviously they're redoing that stadium. So just kind of keep that in mind for that Florida-Georgia game. Then at Kentucky next year. Then Ole Miss at home, which that'll be the 3rd year in a row we play Ole Miss. I like that. We get Vanderbilt again. Haven't played them in quite some time at home. Oklahoma, our first matchup with the Oklahoma team. Excited for that one at home. Back then to Missouri, or then at Auburn. So finally, a reunion with Auburn. We haven't played them in years, it seems like. That's exciting to me. We go to Mizzou, which Mizzou's obviously looked really good. And then at Texas. That'll be our 3rd time in a row playing Texas in 2026. So, look, in the grand scheme of things, I mean, the fact that we get Mizzou and Vandy, now Mizzou's obviously look really good and so is Vandy, but historically not your toughest programs, South Carolina and Kentucky, you take kind of a sigh of relief, right? Again, it's kind of the bottom half of the SEC. Now, we're a part of that bottom half at this very moment, but given what we've looked at over the last couple of years, that one seems to be a little bit more manageable headed into a next season. Then in 2027, it ramps up. South Carolina, Georgia, Kentucky, all stays the same. Then you have Arkansas at home, LSU at home, Texas A&M at home. We go to Alabama. I think the last time we played Alabama was at SEC Championship in 2020. Maybe since then, I can't remember. Then Mississippi State, and then we, of course, play Tennessee. Here's what I don't like, right? That's 2027. We don't play Tennessee again until 2029. So we skip a year with Tennessee. And again, that just feels weird to me. But, you know, it is what it is. So then essentially the 2028, it goes back to what that schedule is in 2026. So then it looks like it'll probably just be every other from there on out, to be quite honest with you. So it's almost like we'll have an on year and off year. And to be quite honest with you, it's a nice, healthy, I would say, kind of dilute schedule, the way that they seem they've got it working out, where there's a nice little bit of juice. And again, we're looking at this schedule with kind of that old mindset in mind, right? With the Kentuckys, the Vandys, the South Carolinas kind of being your lower echelon SEC teams that you usually could kind of go in and handle your business. So this seems to be having a nice, healthy agenda. And again, with the likes of Texas and Oklahoma mixed in as well, the Alabamas and Auburn and LSU, those are your big ones for 1 year. I love it. I genuinely love it. Again, outside of not playing Tennessee was the only thing that I was upset about, not playing them yearly. The rest of it looks really, really good. I think playing 9 SEC games is awesome. I mean, this is massive for the SEC and selling tickets. I mean, every game outside of 2 are going to be electric, and the first one's going to be a cupcake from now on, I assume, more than likely. And The first one always sells out because of the anticipation for football. And then if they do pack that other one, that's probably why they've packed those cake ones at the beginning of the year. Because if you are having a bad season, you don't know yet, right? If you have that crappy game right before Florida State at the end of the year and you're having a bad year, nobody's going to that game. Nobody's going to that game. But if you got it stacked to the front, you're more likely to sell tickets to it. Maybe that's how it's being viewed. I don't know. But what are your thoughts? How's everyone feeling about this schedule? I think it's healthy. It's a nice dose of it. I mean, I took a look at kind of the other teams as well. They all look good. They all look very exciting. I think that it's great that we're moving to 9. Obviously, the Big Ten already does it. I mean, I just love conference matchups. I think it's healthy. It's what we needed to do. So we'll see how that rolls out. But yeah, big stuff there in regards to the schedule. The other big thing, again, I think just seeing that Florida, Georgia going to have to change homes for 2 years. First one will be in Atlanta at the Dome. So essentially a home game for Georgia without being at home. And then the other one will be in Tampa. I'd imagine at probably the Buccaneers Stadium, if I had to guess, very similar to the Gasparilla Bowl, which is essentially supposed to be our home game. Not quite the same, but I know we got a lot of fans over there in Tampa. I know Dan will be happy to settle in over there. So interesting stuff there as it all shakes up. Let's see what Super Chat's doing. Kermani is the man. He is the man. We just released a new video about Kermani and kind of his ups and downs and his comeback story, if you will. You guys got to check that out. It'd be much appreciated. Had a good time making it. And give him a man his flowers. We'll have to talk about this here in just a minute, Muddy, about Mike Gundy being let go. His payout was $15 million to fire Gundy, but Strickland is scared to pay $20 million. Crazy stuff. John Matierman, this one was wild to me. I hate seeing this. After consulting with medical experts, it became clear that surgery is the best option for John Matier and his short-term and long-term future. Again, haven't seen any information on how long he will be out. I think those are always, I'd assume probably 4 to 6, maybe 6 to 8. You just never know the severity of the surgery or, if it's like a scope thing. I mean, it's a broken hand. So what are we thinking, 6 to 8, if that's the case? Which is just awful a scenario here for Oklahoma, given all what they've been able to run into. I mean, again, I had them kind of rolling through the SEC, to be quite honest with you. We'll see how they manage without Matier, but that's a big one. We'll see how they've done with that backup quarterback room. And, what's interesting is during the offseason, obviously, when they talk about DJ Lagway and his health, a lot of people are like, well, if DJ Lagway goes down, the Florida Gators are done. Man, how crazy does that look now? Headed into this, but I kept saying, I go, look, everybody is in this boat. I mean, if your guy goes down, you're going to be in trouble. And Oklahoma is the first to. We've kind of dealt with it in a different manner, but Oklahoma is the first team to really experience that. They got to figure out now, where do they go? I mean, he's definitely has been the guy, this offensive leader that's carried this. That defense is really, really good. So we'll be able to see how they manage these next couple of weeks. Let me see what their schedule looks like to see how it pans out for the Sooners here, Boomer Sooner. I think they might have a bye this week. So they have a bye this week, which is great. Then they have Kent State, which is good. Then they have Texas at Texas in 2 weeks, so he won't be there for that. Then they have at South Carolina in 3, then Ole Miss at home, then Tennessee, then Alabama, then Mizzou, then LSU. My goodness. What a run. So what seemed like Oklahoma being an absolute terror. Now, look, we'll get a lot of answers here in 2 weeks. We'll see. I mean, I'm probably 3 weeks against that Texas team. They could probably squeak some out. It's going to get tough when they go to Ole Miss, Tennessee, Bama, Oklahoma, or Mizzou, and LSU. That's going to be where all the answers are told there. But really sucks for Matier. He was having a hell of a year. I mean, really making himself to be a top draft pick with how he's been performing. But, yeah, South Carolina kind of went through it, I guess, because obviously he went down during the game. But he came back the following week and they still lost. So that's why I really didn't put them to that category, just because they were able to get him back fairly quickly. And you have to learn how to kind of navigate a game. It's when you have to navigate an entire season is where things start to kind of ramp up. Yeah, Jason, love, bub. I feel for you, man. I genuinely, I'm not even trolling here. I was having fun watching him play. I hate this. This is the one part I hate about the game. I wish we could, go into the settings and turn off injuries. It sucks. It absolutely sucks when you see this. even when it is against your rivals or the teams you don't want to, you love. I didn't have fun watching Oklahoma do good things. It was fun seeing them kind of pull themselves out of the madness, if you will. And Oklahoma took two bangers today, the state of Oklahoma, because Oklahoma State moved on from long tenured coach Mike Gundy. Just dropped him off at the doorstep, man. I mean, this is wild. This man has been there as long as I can remember. I mean, forever. All right, but whether he was being a coach or an assistant coach or coach, I mean, this guy has just been bled the orange. And I genuinely thought they were going to let him ride this thing out again. I really did. We've seen it before, but it's been an uphill battle for Gundy. To be quite honest with you, and like Muddy just said, his buyout was $15 million, and they said, "See you later, alligator. We don't got time for you." And look, I don't think. I'm not saying that Billy is necessarily safe. I just don't think that. They're just looking at it. There's no need to do it at this very moment. Again, we all are just reacting and just want to change quickly, and I get it. But where is the benefit of doing it now, I guess, outside of just making us happy? I do think there is some benefit if you can hand the reins over. So when we had that guy who called in the last caller, I can't think of his name, the older gentleman, of like, look, Strickland, you got to put your pants on. Like, hey, if you want to have any chance to coach this thing through and see it through, you got to give everything up. Like, that's where Strickland, in my opinion, has to go. Because now I'd be cool with that. If he said, "Hey, I'm relieving play calling." I saw a great clip. The clip, some of you may have saw it last night with Peyton Manning and Eli Manning, and they showed the interaction between an OC and a quarterback once he comes off the sideline from playing the play. Phone rings, picks it up, and Peyton's being the OC. He's like, "Hey, Lamar, great job picking this up, picking that blitz up, reading that, blah, 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 blah." Lamar goes, "Yeah, I love that. I want to try this next time because I keep seeing, hey, if he bites here, I can beat him there." Those conversations aren't happening because our OC is on the sideline and continuing to coach the game. And he's not seeing that. And I understand he has the iPad and he brings O'Hare over, but O'Hare's not calling the plays, so there's a disconnect. Like, to me, like, there's those small nuances that I've kind of brought up before, but just watching those guys talk about that interaction was just, like, so eye-opening to me that I was like, what? Like, outside of, I've always felt the OC being able to see certain things, right, and calling versus calling it from the sidelines. Like, I didn't even think about, hey, calling down, talking like, "Hey, did you see this? Did you see that? Hey, what are you feeling? What do you think we need to call next?" Like, none of that's happening. None of that's happening. Like, those are the questions that I would be asking. Like, hey, like, how are you helping Lagway navigate the offense while he's on the field if you can't see what's happening? Because we heard Steve talk about last night. He's like, he goes, "We don't know what's happening. Like, who's sucking on offense because we're doing something else." Well, Coach Napier's doing the same thing when defense is on the football field. It's not like he's over there talking to DJ or watching film or breaking anything down or even able to see it from a bird's eye view. It's crazy. It's crazy. It was very eye-opening watching that clip of those guys break down. Very, very interesting. But I've seen some people saying they want Mike Gundy. I don't know if they're trolling or not. But I did see a great tweet from Great Gators Dave where he talked about he would love for Alabama to have some success because although that their buyout for DeBoer is crazy, that if, we get into a coaching battle, that he would, does not want to be in a coaching battle with Alabama if Lane Kiffin is on the table. I had some people asking and kind of tweeting it around of like, hey, there's some smoke with this Lane Kiffin stuff. To be quite honest with you, I haven't heard a single thing about it. It's been the most radio silence I've ever heard before. And I kind of like it. So I would take everything with a grain of salt at this very moment. I'm not kind of running with anything. I think that it would be crazy, but again, at this point, I mean, nobody really knows. I genuinely don't. I think people are talking to certain people, but man, I've learned being in this thing for 4 years, things move quickly, and I haven't heard a soul, a peep, if you will. And usually, I mean, I don't want to hear anything. I think something like this should move in silence. When stuff makes it to me, I hate it. To be quite honest with you, because it's like this is big business stuff that should be sealed tight, and if it's breaking loose, you got a rat. Like you know what I mean? Like these things should be hush hush. If you're trying to make big, massive moves and navigate like this during the season, nobody should have a clue what's going on. Personally. What do I know? But if I'm trying to do a big swap and move and swindle and whip, the only people that need to know what's going on are the ones that are involved. If you got talking heads start talking about it, it just gets dangerous. Personally, it's a sticky world out there. Sticky world out there. You start to get too many hands in the pot. You do things like that. So crazy Tuesday, I'll tell you. I saw this too. Matt Rule, he kind of sounded off a little bit about the. I hate this. I kind of want to play this clip because the coaches whine a ton now. You know, and there's a place for it, but man, it almost feels like they just want to complain about NIL when they lose. Like, we couldn't afford to beat everybody. Like, what does that say? Take a listen to what Matt Rule had to say, and then we'll talk about it.
A lot of things to that, right? Like, there's money. Some people paid more money than I had. So that's the reality of it. I love our backs, though. I just, I say that like I don't mean there's like you can probably hear a little tone in me because like there's about 3 people who can say that question to me because they've given me money and NIL to go get players. So I'm saying like oh coach, I'm worried about when people say to me like I'm worried about the D line. You know how much a D lineman costs nowadays to go get him in the portal? Like all right, they're $18.90 right there. Write a check and then you can talk to me about what you think we should do. And I say that respectfully towards our players like we're going to have to spend a lot of money to keep this roster together. We have a good roster. We have a good team. I think Mekhi Nelson's the starting running back in college football. I think Isaiah Mozee is going to be dynamic. He's just young. We're trying to figure him out. And I think Quentin Ives is a big physical back. But like the whole for me, I want our players to hear I'm not going to start talking about I wish I'd have done this differently because that belittles our own guys. But there is a component to this of, this is the first year this is the first roster. This is the first year that we're at where everyone else is at, and so, I think you can see how we recruit when people want to come to Nebraska. Recruits want to come to Nebraska, but we just have to have what everyone else has, and we finally do that. Troy's worked his tail off. The Pete family's worked their tail off, and now RevShare now we have maybe not what 10 other teams have, but we have about what everyone else has, and so. Yeah, I don't want to start playing I respectfully out there. I don't want to start playing the roster game because it takes a lot of money. There's $40 million rosters in college football right now. 40.
Crazy. Look, the one thing I do like is when these coaches do get mad, they throw shots across the bow. Like that to me, $40 million rosters is look, you're not even in the same stratosphere when you think about it. Like I think it reminds me of baseball. Baseball spending You got the Dodgers spending $1.2 billion on their roster. The third place team in the MLB is spending $500 million. That's a lot of money. That's a massive difference. When the third highest team is spending $500 million and you're spending $1.3, $1.4 billion on your roster, how do you even compete? I mean, that's like they have the Dodgers payroll has probably 15 teams' entire payroll inside of their one budget. And I'm sure there's college football teams that are very similar to that. And so look, I do think there is a point, but if you would have won, Matt, would this conversation have been brought up? Like that's what I don't like is that you go and play the game and then you're like, hey, well we fell short because of this. I don't like it. I don't like it. And it could be true. But then why play the game? If you already feel that going into it's unfair, why play the game? Right? I mean, in the same breath, I would argue that a $40 million roster doesn't equate to like $1 billion baseball roster because you're taking a big risk on some of these college guys. You're making it an unknown investment. They're not as proven as maybe a professional athlete is at that very moment. So these $40 million teams, I mean, how much of it is garnering success? If you can, look, in my opinion, if you can be in that top 20, top 30 echelon of spending, you're going to have to coach your way up there. You're going to have to develop your way into it. Like, go do your part. Do your part on that. But look, in the same breath, I get it. But to play poor, it's just, You're in the Big Ten. Your rev share is huge. There is probably about 10 schools. We've said this. It's the Ohio States. It's the Oregons. It's probably every Texas school at this very moment. But look at teams that are having success right now that are in the same boat as you from a financial perspective. Miami's probably up there as well too. I don't think FSU's up there spending it like that. I think they're spending healthfully, but I don't think they're in that upper echelon. They're probably higher than Nebraska, but they're doing well. Mizzou is having some success. Kansas is finding a little bit of a rhythm. Baylor's doing well. And I know they're a Texas school, but I think that I don't think they're as fully as vested as other Texas school, to say the least. So interesting stuff. Interesting stuff there. You guys are talking about the list in the chat. I love it. Here we go. Gator Gang. Matt Rule's the kind of guy who asks for his steak well done. Yeah, I feel that. I feel that. You think Napier has one more year? You think they're going to let him rock with it? Dang, Army Sniper trying to fire up the chat. I love it here on a beautiful Tuesday evening. You guys are talking about head coaches and coming here to Florida. I feel like I shouldn't even. I'll just let the chat go. Nobody's even listening. You guys are having your own. I love it. I always love to look over to see what we're doing, and you guys are always in your own flow. I love it. Oh, got a couple super chats here. I almost missed it. I apologize. Jeremy, my man, what's up? $5 says, "Oh, you will be fine on his worst day." Venables gives you 21 points with or without Mateer, and with that defense, that's all you need. Damn. Well done. Well said. $20, my man Jeremy. Anyone know how much money Kermani makes with his NIL deal? But that one Twitter comment almost represents us enough for thanks from Gator Nation, brother. Go fund me, in my opinion. Is that legal? If so, can high tops do it? Yeah, for real. I think that what Jeremy is talking about, we made a video about it, but I'll pull it up now. We'll talk. I'll read it to you what he said. Inez Cooper made a video. Look, and I don't really care. Like these college cats, they're chirping, they're talking smack, and they were heavily at it throughout the game, which I love the chirping, all for it. And after the game, Inez Cooper went on his Instagram live, chirping and calling out Kermani McClain. And Kermani McClain, his name carries weight, right? And he tweets out, everybody keep asking me if I've seen that video. I know exactly what's happening. Yo, Kermani, you see him talking crazy about you? You see him talking crazy? What you gonna do, man? What you gonna say? Now, it's a lose-lose for Kermani, because if he doesn't say anything, then he looks soft. If he does say something that's not right, then you look dumb because you lost the game. How much can you really say, right? And then he says, I'm locked in on getting better every day, being a better teammate, and figuring out how we can win games together. Best of luck to Inez and Miami. Go Gators. And there's a response like that, which is phenomenal. Like, hey, I'll answer the nonsense because I'm tired of hearing about it. It is what it is. I got to focus on me. There's only so many things that I can control, which is true. The cat's he's one player on a starting 22-man roster. Only so much he can do. The kid ain't calling the plays. He ain't coaching it. Played his tail off. Hell of a response. Haven't heard from him in a couple of months. And you make your return to Twitter like that. I love it. I love it. Like, again, I made a whole video because we were critical when he came back to Florida. I was critical of it, very critical of it, of like, hey, it's not a good move. Then I found out he was going to be a walker. I said, okay, cool, love it. Let's see what you got. And the young man has made more of the opportunity. You know, we give Billy a hard time, and you got to give him a W elsewhere. This is the one W, in my opinion, that I'm okay with nodding to Napier, like it's not anything to keep him for, but giving this young man a chance, putting him in position to win, and kind of just believing in him. And again, I'm not saying it's all Billy. Obviously, the surrounding cast have been a huge factor into that. And Kermani himself had to want it. There's that part into it. But that is the one thing that I will always think. I'm not that, we get anything for Kermani. But I look, we talk smack. We see these kids, come and go and flip and do all these things. At the end of the day, I still want them to have success. In all genuineness, even though I like to talk smack. Like Jaden Rashado's lost his starting job at Sacramento State. Like, this is wild. That's wild. I mean, that's just mismanaged all the way around in that situation. But yeah, proud of Kermani for that. Yeah, a hell of a response. Hell of a response for Kermani. And I love it. And here's the thing. When people talk about, this Florida team's going to quit, they're going to redshirt, like a lot of these guys don't have a lot of time. And think about like Kermani has put his name on the map from playing this year. Regardless of what the record shows, Kermani has put a ton of value in his name. And I think there's a lot of guys that see that. Now, if you take a look, like, hey, if you're a wide receiver, you might start asking some questions like, Coach, I ain't getting the ball, bro. I'm just running just circles. Like, it's not doing me any favors. And so that's where I would probably get a little worrisome. But defensively, man, they've been electric. So, oh boys, I just wanted to hop in on this beautiful Tuesday, chit chat with you guys for a little bit. Obviously, we'll be live tomorrow, live at 8:35. Unless, I mean, we got a baby appointment, so maybe not. And then honestly, it works out. Obviously, it's a bye week. It's a hell of a football week. Great football week. But the boys are off, so I'll get to take it easy, if you will. But a lot of great games to be tuning into. We'll have our show on Thursday, of course, unless something is going crazy. I don't know. But everything is tentative right now. We're all on standby. We're all on call. So listen, if we're good, we'll go live from the hospital. We've already told you. We don't play around here, okay? Show goes on, boys. Show goes on. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. If you did, you know what to do. Smash it, like it, do all the good stuff. We'll see you all tomorrow. Peace and love, baby.